This is the story of The Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. The year is 1775. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us, we had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven, and we were all going direct the other way. Mr. Jarvis Lorry and Lucy Manette travel to Paris from London. They have just received word that Lucy's father and Lorry's business partner, Dr. Alexandre Manette, whom they had believed dead for the past 18 years, is actually alive and not so well in Paris. He has been, as they say, recalled to life. They travel to a local wine shop in Saint Antoine, a suburb of Paris. Here, they meet with Madame and Monsieur Defarge, the owners. It turns out that Manette has gotten PTSD and gone crazy. He started making shoes and not caring about personal hygiene. He thinks his name is simply
Prisoner 105 North Tower.
Prisoner 105 North Tower. Lucy and Lorry take Manette home to London, and he becomes sane again. 5 years passed. It is now 1780. Lucy and Dr. Manette are testifying at the trial of Charles Darnay, a man they met on their trip back to Paris. He is on trial for treason, and they testify that he is a pretty chill dude. He expressed great gentleness and kindness for my father's state, and I am sure he felt it. That was the manner of our beginning to speak together. Darnay's lawyer, Stryver, points out that Sidney Carton, someone in the audience, and Darnay look alike.
Look well upon that gentleman, my learned friend there, and then look well upon the prisoner. How say you? Are they very like each other?
Back in Paris, the Marquis Saint-Evremond is introduced to the book, and he is basically the biggest jerk in all of eternity. He runs over small children in his carriage and feels...
That's my credo. No regrets.
He is the epitome of the rich, stuck-up jerk. Back in London, both Sidney Carton and Charles Darnay are in love with Lucy, but they each have their flaws. Carton is a drunk who has a very bleak outlook on life. Darnay, who is more of an optimist, has a better hand, but his family tree prevents him from being the clear winner of Lucy's heart. He is actually of the nephew of the Marquis Saint-Evremond. Remember that bad guy from before? Fortunately, Darnay has spoken with his uncle and renounced his inheritance and all ties with the Evremond family.
Our family, our honorable family, whose honor is of so much account to both of us, in such different ways. Even in my father's time we did a world of wrong, injuring every human creature who came between us and our pleasure, whatever it was. Why need I speak of my father's time, when it is equally yours? Can I separate my father's twin brother, joint inheritor, and next successor from himself?
The morning after renouncing his ties, the Marquis is killed by revolutionaries in France. The note stabbed into his heart reads, "Drive him fast to his tomb. This from Jacques." Lucy ends up marrying Darnay, and they have a daughter a few years later. Sidney Carton, unfortunately, remains forever in the friend zone. In 1789, the French Revolution breaks out. Darnay learns that one of his bros back in Paris was just imprisoned in La Force, another prison. Darnay then secretly goes to Paris. When he gets there, he gets thrown in jail too. So Lucy goes to Paris, along with Dr. Manette and Sidney Carton, to try and save him. There, Dr. Manette pulls some strings and gets connections into the prison. Darnay is eventually acquitted. At every vote, the populace set up a shout of applause. All the voices were in the prisoner's favor, and the president declared him free. But then, Madame Defarge had him rearrested because... Flashback to some time ago. The Marquis was a total jerk, but you already knew that. And a while ago, He raped Madame Defarge's sister and killed her brother back in the day. And now she seeks vengeance. The wretched wife of the innocent man, thus doomed to die, fell under the sentence as if he had been mortally stricken, but she uttered no sound, and so strong was the voice within her, representing that it was she of all the world who must uphold him in his misery, and not augment it, that it quickly raised her even from that shock. Darnay is then sentenced to death. The next day, Carton appears outside Darnay's cell at La Force. He forces Darnay to switch clothes with him, he drugs him, and takes his place in the prison. Then Darnay and the Manettes escape France and go back to England. Carton is now the one who faces the guillotine in Darnay's stead, and he reflects upon his life in his last short moments. It is a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done. It is a far, far better rest that I go than I have ever known.